Kosuke Mikado is a modest bookstore clerk. After helping a customer find the book she needed, his attention was drawn to a blurry silhouette of a woman. Mikado immediately realized it was a ghost. To see more clearly, he took off his glasses. Suddenly, a stranger approached him. The man confidently stated that their meeting was destiny and that he hadn't expected to encounter someone with such abilities. As he touched Mikado, he plunged him into a strange state. Right before losing consciousness, Mikado experienced inexplicably pleasant and warm sensations. He woke up in the storage room, lying on a table. Next to him were the store manager and the same stranger. The man explained that Mikado had felt that way because he had touched his soul. The man's name is Rihito Hiyakawa. He is an exorcist currently searching for an assistant. Later, he waits for Mikado at the entrance. Mikado asks him not to touch him like that again. He's scared. He even wears glasses just to avoid seeing spirits. Rihito assures him there's nothing to fear when he's around. The next day, Rihito invites Mikado to meet again. They go to an apartment where a suicide occurred a year earlier. There, Mikado sees the ghost of a woman and becomes frightened. He begs for it to stop, but Rihito takes his hand, summons the ghost, and exorcises it. In Rihito's office, there's a sign that reads, "Real estate appraisal, special cleaning services." This is just a cover for his true occupation, spirit exorcism. Before a ritual, one should avoid eating meat or drinking alcohol to avoid draining the body. That's why after every job, they always eat steaks together to regain energy. Their next assignment comes from police detective Hiroki Kazawa. They are tasked with finding the missing body parts of 3 women who were dismembered by a serial killer a year ago. Mikado and Rihito go to the bathroom where the murders occurred. This time, Rihito doesn't enter Mikado's soul. Instead, he lets Mikado enter his. In a moment of intense spiritual connection, Rihito loses control and bites Mikado on the shoulder. This emotional fusion boosts their powers. During the ritual, they both hear a name, Erika Hiura, who supposedly betrayed someone. Her name isn't among the list of victims. They continue gathering clues, which lead them to an abandoned building where Hiroki Kazawa discovers the women's remains in a boiler room. Rihito informs the detective about the name they heard, Erika Hiura, but Kazawa says they can't use information that isn't confirmed in official case records. Rumors that Mikado was a medium spread quickly. One of the shop employees asked him to check out a fortune teller she had once visited, wondering if the man was a fraud. The fortune teller had a strict rule. He only accepted one person at a time. But Mikado and Rihito were used to working together. So Rihito demonstrated that he could leave his body and accompany Mikado in spirit form. When Mikado entered the office, the fortune teller acted calm at first and delivered a routine reading. But suddenly, his demeanor changed. He grabbed Mikado's hand and demanded answers. The situation escalated into a struggle. At its peak, Mikado's soul left his body. This happened because Rihito, sensing a powerful paranormal threat, had possessed him. The fortune teller also had the ability to see spirits, but he couldn't make real predictions. He was indeed a fraud, drawing information from what clients unknowingly revealed. Occasionally, he could dispel curses, but it was more instinctual than deliberate. During the visit, the name Erika Hiura came up again. He explained that her curses seemed to eat away at her victim's flesh, and that she always stated her name before casting them. When he learned that Mikado and Rihito were working with Detective Hiroki Kazawa, he grew visibly nervous. Before they left, he warned Mikado, hinting that Rihito himself might be dangerous. The next case took the partners to a girls' school. One student complained that she kept seeing dead people whenever she was alone. Rihito confirmed the girl was cursed. Mikado found the source of the anomaly, a black void on her desk. Together, he and Rihito managed to remove it. Among the students was a girl named Erika Hiura. When Mikado heard her name, he felt a surge of emotion, similar to what he had felt upon first meeting Rihito. Later, Rihito proposed forming a contract. When Mikado wrote down his full name, he lost consciousness. What followed felt like a dream. Rihito hovered over him, noting how easily Mikado let others into his soul. This time, it had been Erika Hiura, but from now on, he would belong to Rihito alone. The next day, Keita Mukai, the same fortune teller, contacted Mikado again. A celebrity had reported strange happenings in a restroom. The lights would turn on by themselves, as if someone was inside. Keita took Mikado's hand, and their souls merged. In that state, they saw the ghost, bearing the celebrity's own face. It turned out to be a fragment of her soul, split off by relentless self-criticism that was eating away at her from within. After the job, they sat together in a cafe. Keita remarked that Mikado seemed to attract people who wanted to control him. He also admitted that Rihito had already formed a strong bond with him. Later that day, while returning home, Mikado encountered yet another spirit. The being possessed him completely, taking control of his body. At that moment, Rihito appeared. He observed that Mikado was too easy a target, open to anyone. Mikado asked for help, and then woke up back in the office with no memory of how he had gotten there. Rihito and Mikado have a new case. A woman comes to them, tormented by a recurring dream, a dead girl lying in a landscaped pond in her garden. At first, the client watches the girl, then the girl begins watching her. Mikado decides to dive into the water. At the bottom, he finds the very same girl. When she suddenly opens her eyes and looks straight at him, Mikado is truly shaken. After the job is done, the two of them go out for steak, as usual. Mikado asks why Rihito didn't get rid of the spirit once and for all this time. He doesn't get a clear answer, and instead, a strange and unsettling feeling comes over him. Suddenly, there's a knock at the window. It's Erika Hiura. She wants to talk. Before the conversation begins, Rihito makes it clear that Mikado belongs to him. Ignoring the warning, Erika touches Mikado and instantly senses that Rihito has placed a binding energy link on him. But Erika hasn't come to threaten them. She needs advice. She works as a cursing medium, and it pays well, but now she wants out. Rihito asks if she was also paid to target the schoolgirls. Erika explains that the girls were just misbehaving and disrupting class, and no one did anything, so she punished them in her own way. When they bring up the case of the 3 murdered women whose bodies they recently helped locate, Erika doesn't see herself as guilty. She wasn't the one who killed them. She merely guides the dead. But behind her stands someone far more terrifying, someone who is using her and demands much more. At that moment, a tall man approaches Erika and tells her it's time to go home. Her curfew is up. Later, Rihito sits beside Mikado and proposes an experiment, placing a curse on him. Mikado protests but can't move. His body won't respond. Their next case involves a former classmate of Mikado's, someone he barely ever spoke to. The man contacts Mikado because his girlfriend has been experiencing strange phenomena. In the apartment, Mikado sees hundreds of eyes staring from every crack and corner. It turns out the girl's mother cursed her for trying to escape her obsessive control, ignoring calls and hiding from her. The source of the curse is a talisman with an eye, a gift from her mother. To lift the spell, Rihito destroys the talisman. The classmate throws down payment for the job and tells Mikado he wants nothing more to do with him. Meanwhile, a man referred to as the teacher asks why Erika keeps avoiding him. He is told she's been complaining about feeling unwell. Mikado starts getting irritated by Rihito's constant physical closeness. The man is always leaning against him. Rihito believes this reaction is due to Erika's influence, whom Mikado recently ran into again. At that moment, Detective Hiroki Kazawa shows up with a new case for the boys. However, Rihito refuses to go and sends Mikado in his place. On the way, Mikado and Hiroki talk about Rihito. Mikado asks if it's true that he has no family or friends. The detective admits he doesn't fully understand the nature of their relationship, but notes that Rihito hasn't grown this attached to anyone in a long time, not like he has to Mikado. Meanwhile, Erika is sitting on a swing in a crowded area with an older man she calls Sensei. He gives her a new assignment. He's impressed by her creative approach to their work. He recalls the doll she assembled from human remains, speaking of it as if it were a work of art. Mikado and the detective arrive at the scene, a shop whose owners either wind up in the hospital or disappear without a trace. While observing the street, the detective notices a strange detail. Every passerby turns their head toward the shop. Not one of them even glances at the two of them. Feeling uneasy, Mikado decides to call Rihito. Rihito answers and says he's glad Mikado called. He's just been wanting to test something. Through the phone, he enters Mikado's soul. When the detective returns, he notices that Mikado's mannerisms have begun to resemble Rihito's, as if he's mimicking him. While inside Mikado's body, Rihito draws a protective barrier in chalk and begins his work. As he focuses, he quickly realizes the place is a deliberately created magical trap. At the same time, Erika is creating a similar trap under Sensei's guidance. She asks if he remembers all the locations where they've placed such traps. Sensei replies that of course he doesn't, and adds that it bothers him how Erika might still pity people. That possibility angers him. Their conversation is interrupted by Erika's bodyguard. Later, the detective brings Mikado, unconscious, to Rihito's office. His heart had stopped. Rihito tries to revive him using his energy. Mikado opens his eyes and begins speaking in a voice that isn't his own. While unconscious, he saw his mother's old jewelry box. Rihito asks the detective to gather information on other places where people have vanished under mysterious circumstances. At home, Mikado opens that same jewelry box, trying to understand why he saw it in that vision. His mother walks in and explains that it's the only thing she has left from Mikado's father. She takes out one of the earrings and suggests he hang it on his phone as a charm. On the street, Mikado runs into Rihito. Rihito hands him materials from the detective and shares a new business idea. They could not only purify the world from spirits, but also create such traps themselves. Mikado is furious. He grabs Rihito and demands to know what's inside him, who he really is. He can't understand him, but he desperately wants to. Mikado is still angry at Rihito. Rihito suggests making money not only by exorcising spirits, but also by casting curses. Mikado doesn't agree with such an approach, but he doesn't have the courage to leave. He's grown too attached to him. As Mikado stands lost in thought, a stranger suddenly shoves him into a car. They arrive at a luxurious mansion where Erika runs out to meet them. She apologizes for the guard's rough behavior and invites Mikado inside. He remains tense, thinking this has something to do with curses, but unexpectedly, Erika just asks for help with her English homework. Speaking in riddles so the guard won't understand, Erika tells Mikado about the so-called teacher, a cruel, mentally unstable man she's forced to obey, and about her father who sold her to him. She wonders if her power can be used not only for evil, but also for good. Meanwhile, Rihito is on his way back from the store when he encounters a lost ghost, a girl who can't find her way. He's about to destroy her instantly, but suddenly, Mukai appears. He gently speaks to the ghost, calming her down. Then he turns to Rihito and tells him that if Mikado truly means something to him, it's time he learned to be different, softer, more human. Mikado is also reflecting on himself and his feelings. He senses an invisible bond between himself and Rihito, and if Rihito can pull on that leash, then maybe he can do the same. Pull it in his direction. Draw Rihito closer to himself. In the past, Mikado's mother met a strange young man in the park. He confessed that he struggled to communicate with people, that he had certain peculiarities, but she said nothing scared her. Soon they moved in together, and she found out she was pregnant. Whenever she left the house, the man would talk to someone invisible. He often froze, staring into nothingness. When their son was born, he seemed strange too, staring into space, crying for no reason. The man realized the child had inherited his peculiarity. Mikado's mother had a gift. Her presence could suppress spirits. When she was near, they left the man alone. But after the baby was born, her strength wasn't enough to protect them both. The man decided that if one of them didn't disappear, she would die. One day, she returned home to find her baby swollen from hours of crying. The man was gone forever. Detective Hiroki meets a girl in a cafe. She is the daughter of a murderer, a crime that Hiroki had once investigated. A strange man comes to her store during every shift. She sees him only as a shadow. Something invisible is pulling her, calling her to cross over to the side of evil. After the conversation, Hiroki walks the girl to her workplace. At the door, he injures his hand. Hiroki recalls how he first met Rihito. Back then, Rihito was just a child with special abilities. He didn't understand much, but he saw a unique trait in Hiroki. a complete absence of belief. Hiroki didn't believe in people, ghosts, or fate. The only person he cared about was his wife, but Rihito believed he was destined to meet someone special. When Rihito's mother gave birth to him, she experienced an enlightenment. She created an association and began preaching there. She called her son Master, but she rarely saw him. Rihito lived locked in a basement. His food was limited, and all pleasures were forbidden. Hired caretakers watched over him. Every day, he was forced to receive visitors with various problems. One day, a cursed man came to him. Rihito was hungry and angry. He took the man's soul, and he liked it. After that, he took the souls of everyone in the house. When the police arrived, they found many dead bodies. Everything looked like a mass suicide. In one of the rooms, Hiroki found little Rihito. The boy couldn't answer who he was. Hiroki walks with his wife near the shops. Nearby are the places where he investigates missing persons. He tells her he'll step away for a few minutes to check something. Meanwhile, Erika goes to the crime scene. To discharge the built-up energy, she performs a ritual and lets a spirit possess her. Hiroki finds Erika's ID. The name is familiar to him. The detective lists recent crimes and directly asks her what connection she has to them. Erika realizes someone has betrayed her. She knows Hiroki doesn't believe in curses, which is why they don't affect him, so she places a curse on his wife, just as she runs up to them. After meeting with Erika, Detective Hiroki's wife still hasn't recovered. Troubled, Hiroki turns to Mikado and asks, "Who is Erika Hira really?" Mikado defends the girl and says that a child couldn't possibly be involved in such horrible crimes. But the detective reminds him it was Mikado and Rihito who first told him about her. Mikado asks why Hiroki seeks help from people he doesn't trust. Hiroki replies that Rihito once came to him and offered his services for money. After the detective leaves, Erika shows up at Mikado's place. She is furious, accusing him of turning her in to the police. Erika confesses that she's forced to do terrible things. Terrifying people are behind it all. She can't even imagine what they'll do to her if they find out the police know anything about her. In a burst of emotion, Erika begins to break down, as if she's poisoned herself. Her bodyguard is also unwell, but he begs Mikado not to let her die. Mikado tells Erika that they have a unique ability to make real whatever they truly believe in. He tells her that he believes in her, that she is a good person. Erika says she doesn't want to die and doesn't want to do evil anymore. She starts to feel better. She apologizes to Mikado for pushing herself into his life and then suspecting him. She thanks him. Mikado promises to help her change her life. Erika realizes she has to escape from the teacher, though she doesn't yet know how. Mikado promises to help. Erika visits Hiroki's wife to lift the curse placed on her. It's her first time removing a curse. Until now, she had only cast them. She summons the dead spirit that had possessed the woman and transfers it into her own body. On the way back, Mikado suggests discussing a plan for Erika and her bodyguard to escape from the teacher. He says that Rihito is also involved. Since it's hard to reach an agreement among the four of them, they decide to invite the seer, Muke. He had already heard about Erika from some of his clients, ones he couldn't help after her curses took hold. The guys decide to investigate who this teacher really is, but Erika says it's impossible. After meeting him, all memory is erased. Rihito remarks that helping people is a thankless task. Mikado gets angry. He believes that someone must have helped Rihito once too. Rihito agrees to help, but only on one condition, that Mikado always stays by his side. The souls of Mikado and Rihito leave their bodies in order to infiltrate the teacher's house and try to gather at least some information while he is away on a business trip. Erika, along with her bodyguard, observes the house from the apartment across the street, which they rented the day before. Meanwhile, Mukai watches over the physical bodies of Mikado and Rihito. All four of them are able to communicate telepathically. Erika mentally directs the souls of Mikado and Rihito toward the teacher's house. They enter. Rihito gets the strange feeling that he has been in this place before. Soon after, Muke finds confirmation online. This is indeed the house where Rihito lived as a child. The teacher had purchased the land because many people had died there, and he needed their energy. Rihito then wonders if the house has a basement. He once hid there an item that had belonged to his mother. But instead of finding it, they discover a strange, oozing filth that begins to rapidly expand and transforms into a sinister entity. Mikado and Rihito urgently return to their bodies. Later, Mikado and Mukai report what happened to the detective. Once again, he warns Mikado not to grow attached to Rihito, fearing he may follow the same path. Rihito has no home to return to and remains completely alone. Reflecting on the detective's words, Mikado thinks about Rihito's lifelong solitude. He cautiously tries to find out whether Rihito has anyone truly close to him. Rihito admits that the only such person is Mikado himself. He says that Mikado is his fate and that he is extraordinary. Meanwhile, the teacher watches a politician giving a public speech. This politician is his next target. A few minutes later, the politician and several people standing nearby collapse without any signs of life. After using his powers, the teacher temporarily reverts into a defenseless child. In this state, memories of a woman he once knew come flooding back. He can't even remember her name, but feels deep regret for walking away from her in the past. He realizes that he should have simply killed her child back then. When he regains his adult form, the teacher senses the presence of the woman he once lived with inside his apartment. The memories of her bring him unbearable pain. Later, he understands that someone had indeed entered his home. Erika's mother tells her that she hasn't seen Erika's father, who serves the teacher, for several days. The detective assigns Erika and her bodyguard to steal the association's accounting ledger, which her father kept in his office. Erika realizes that her father's disappearance gives them the perfect chance to act. They begin searching the office, but just as they attempt to open the safe, Erika's mother walks in, and right behind her, the teacher himself appears. Teacher catches Erika and her bodyguard in her father's office. Erika's mother tries to explain. She says they haven't seen him for several days and came to check if he had left any kind of message. Teacher suggests that maybe he did something to him, but he doesn't remember. He also notices that Erika treats her bodyguard with warmth, which greatly irritates him. He lashes out at the bodyguard. Erika's mother, trying to stop him, uses a stun gun. She urges her daughter to run while teacher is still unconscious. Erika remembers the words of the bodyguard. If they run together. She tries to revive him and succeeds. Before their escape, Erika's mother gives her a bundle. She once feared her daughter's power and avoided contact with her for years. Now she asks for forgiveness. Inside the bundle are car keys, a key to a house, a phone, and a savings book. Erika and the bodyguard drive to a rented apartment. Erika cries. She had always hoped her mother would save her sooner and rescue her from the nightmare. The next morning, after some rest, Erika is ready to fight. Mikado sorts through mail in the office and finds a letter from Erika with a contact link. Detective Hiroki, Rihito, and Muke join the call. Erika tells them she is safe for now. Her mother sent her the association's accounting book and the phone number of her father's secretary. She took a huge risk, and now she also needs to be rescued. In order to weaken teacher's power, even slightly, they must find out his real name. After the call, Rihito tells Mikado that everything is too complicated. In his opinion, it would be much easier to simply go to teacher and take everything from him, his power, money, and property. That would be the best punishment. Mikado realizes that something has angered Rihito. He tries to find out what it is, but only makes him even more furious and falls into the abyss. Mikado regains consciousness in the yard of a woman they had recently helped together with Rihito. Her house has no exit, so Mikado is trapped. The woman offers him tea. She is a hybrid of spirit and human. She had called for exorcists because she had temporarily forgotten who she was. Mikado can't understand how someone could want to curse another. He wants to protect Rihito from such a desire. He firmly decides to stop it. The woman asks if the person he wants to save truly deserves it. And what if hatred is all that person has left? Can Mikado really fill the hole in his heart? Rihito arrives at teacher's place and says that this is his house and that teacher stole something from him. He tells him he has never seen a person so hideous and wonders if teacher cursed himself. Mikado arrives. He knew where to find Rihito. He begs him to leave. When Mikado is nearby, teacher begins to break down. He sees the woman he once loved and abandoned. Mikado urges Rihito to run, but Rihito is more interested in why Mikado resists him. As the darkness emanating from teacher spreads rapidly, Mikado shields a passing bystander with his own body. Rihito feels hurt that Mikado didn't protect him first, and says that maybe Mikado isn't his fate after all. Then Rihito sends Mikado back into the abyss. Mikado once again finds himself at the pond near the woman's house with no exit. He is tormented by guilt. In saving a random passerby, he left Rihito behind in danger. He tells Mukai what happened. 3 days have passed, but Rihito hasn't shown up, neither at the office nor at home. Mikado is desperate to find him. Erika and her bodyguard arrive. Erika explains that the teacher has woven a web of energy traps. Within their range, he can see and control everything. Mikado is convinced that Rihito is inside the teacher's house. Suddenly, a toxic darkness emerges from around the corner and touches Erika's bodyguard. But he doesn't die. After being resurrected by Erika, he became immortal. Mikado manages to erase the darkness and senses Rihito's presence within it. A chilling thought strikes him. Could Rihito now be helping the teacher? Later, Mikado drinks tea with his mother and tells her that the charm left to him by his father protects him. He remarks that the air around her feels cleaner. She finds those words familiar, though she can't recall who said them before. Meanwhile, the teacher has locked Rihito away in the same room where he was once held as a child. He refuses to let him go, having bound him to himself. Mikado resolves to find Rihito at any cost. He summons the strength to destroy the dark web that spreads through the city streets from the teacher's house. By destroying it, the team cuts the teacher off from the outside world. Mikado, Mukai, Erika, and her bodyguard arrive at the teacher's house. He lets them inside. Earlier, Detective Hiroki had poured water around the house at their request. Mikado and Mukai go in search of Rihito. Erika merges her soul with her bodyguards so that he can see spirits too. Together, they begin cleansing the house. Mukai enters a room where he sees Rihito as a child. He tells him there are people who love him. With pain in his voice, Rihito asks why no one ever helped. Mukai gently insists that everyone is here for him now, and someone, more than anyone, truly wants to save him. The teacher is shocked that Mikado managed to find him in the bewitched house. It proves how powerful he's become. Then the teacher reveals the truth. He is Mikado's father, and all these years, his only regret was not killing him when he had the chance. The teacher confessed to Mikado that he was his father and had wished him dead all these years. He unleashed his most powerful magic upon his son. Mikado felt his heart turn to ice as the walls of the house began to tremble under the weight of the curse. In the teacher's memories, the last day spent with his son resurfaced. The boy had cried endlessly while he sat across from him, feeling only irritation and disgust. Meanwhile, the bodyguard suggested that Erika flee before it was too late. But she knew that if they left now, there would be no way back, and the others would be trapped with no escape. He then asked if the power of the dead within the house could be used. Erika agreed. It was an excellent idea. As they searched for a way to help, Mukai tried to reach Rihito. Once, Rihito had been taken out of that room, but it had remained a part of him ever since. Mukai urged him to truly leave, not just the room, but the darkness within. He wanted Rihito to understand that others were trying to hear him, to understand him. The teacher reminded Mikado that demonic blood flowed through his veins, which was why all manner of darkness had always clung to him. But Mikado accepted the power of Erika and the dead who had answered her call. He knew that blood was only a small part of who he was. There were forces far stronger, and the teacher could no longer break him. With his newfound strength, Mikado grabbed the teacher's hand and began to unravel the web of hatred he had woven over the years. Stripped of his magic, the teacher asked for forgiveness, but Mikado sought neither revenge nor pardon. He asked only that the man not disappear. Everything was falling apart. Erika, her bodyguard, and Mukai had already managed to escape the house. The others hoped that Mikado and Rihito would also make it out safely. The only thing they could rely on was the power of love. Mikado remembered how Rihito had once bound him with an energy thread. He reached out to that connection as a last chance to bring him back. It seemed to him that the most important words between them had remained unspoken. He didn't know what Rihito truly wanted. Rihito didn't want to be alone. Mikado made it clear that, with him, there would be no more fear. Together, they left the house where their friends were already waiting. Later, the whole group gathered at a cafe. Rihito silently thanked Mukai for his persistence and patience, which had helped him return. Mikado took out the old contract, the very one Rihito had once used to bind him, and tore it into small pieces. That connection no longer had power over him. The next day, Rihito was in the office. He was certain Mikado wouldn't return, but then the door opened and Mikado stepped in. Later, the two of them set out on a new assignment, together again,